So of all the streaming services out there, there's only one that gives us all the goodies, and that is Tubi. And what we do here is we reach our hands into that tub and pull out one good one every month. And this month, it's Santa Claus Conquers the Martian, here on Out of the Tubi. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Out of the Tubi. I am your host, Brett Parker. Joining me, as always, my wonderful co-host Dan and Angela of DNA Gaming.
Hello.
Hello.
So, Out of the Tubi, we are doing it again. Doing a movie that connects to our last month's movie, which we covered the last Thanksgiving. And there was a scene in that movie where a character is showing this as a kind of a yearly thing at the local theater. So it was easy for us to decide what was going to be our December film because it ties into the last one. So why not? So today we were talking about 1964's Santa Claus Conquers the Martians, one of what most people would think is one of the worst movies ever made. A Christmas movie that was released 3 weeks before Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer in 1964. Oof. It has been riffed on and parodied since its release in 1964. One of the most popular ones being from Mystery Science Theater 3000, which that premiered in 1991 and has been a kind of a yearly watch for a lot of people when it comes to this movie. Also, Riff Tracks did it back in 2016. It's been covered by a lot of people. It actually played on Comedy Central for a long time when it was the MST3K version, because that's who owned MST3K for a while. But yeah, it's a wild movie to look at because it was made for $200,000. It looks like a high school production.
Yeah.
It is. I don't know about you, but has this movie been cleaned up in any versions? I know that you can get this on Blu-ray. It is available to buy physically without the commentaries and all that stuff.
Why?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I know there's got to be somebody that genuinely just likes this film. They probably grew up with it.
So, yeah, it was on started being shown on the Comedy Channel, which was then turned into Comedy Central in December of 1991 under the MST3K version. That was released on DVD in 2004. Then Mill Creek Entertainment released it on DVD as a holiday family collection in 2006. Cinematic Titanic, which I guess is a kind of a similar thing as MST3K, did their own thing, which was released on DVD in 2008. Cinema Insomnia did a kind of a version of it. Like I said, it has been just insanely riffed on. It was on Elvira's movie Macabre, or is that how you say that word? Macabre? Macabre. Do I know how to say a word?
That's how I've always pronounced
Macabre, right? Yeah.
I don't know. I've heard it pronounced different ways. That's how I say it. That
version was released in 2011. Riff Tracks did it in 2015, and then it was part of a weird Christmas on Fandor, whatever that is. There is a comic book adaptation and a read-along of the film that was produced by Dell Comics in 1966. There was a musical, a theatrical production of a musical in 1993 in Chicago. A remake was rumored to be made in 1998, being produced by David Zucker and starring Jim Carrey as our dopey Dropo.
Oh my God.
That was slated to be released in 2002, but it went into development hell and never happened. And as of right now, it is slated to get a remake that will be directed by the original director's daughter, Cynthia Webster.
That doesn't I was expecting to say Tim Burton. I don't know why. I was just like, please don't.
Oh
He could
my
do a good
Lord.
job out with it.
That they could. I don't know. I don't.
Poor Bill.
So yeah, this movie was directed by Nicholas Webster, who, if you look at his filmography, it's not a lot.
I'm not surprised. But carry on.
Yeah,
No offense to
he
him.
did some early I wouldn't even say music videos, probably just recordings for musicians. He did some did some work with Johnny Cash, Ozzie Davis, Alan Alda. He did some stuff with, and yeah, not much.
I just seen a movie that caught my eye.
For him,
Sharks, the Death Machine.
Sharks, the Death Machine, yes, and Man Beast, Myth or Monster. They sound on my kind of level of a show to watch. That's for sure.
Sure. It was written by Glenville Merritt, and who I don't know who that is, and it stars John Call as Santa Claus, Leonard Hicks as Kamar, who is one of our Martians, Vincent Beck as Voldar, Bill McCutcheon as Dropo. Who looking at this cast, I think Bill McCutcheon is like the one who has been in some actual like decent movies. He was in Steel Magnolias in 1989. And I think, was that the only one I recognized from him? Yeah, this was technically his first film. Oh, that's right. That's what I remember seeing, is he did a lot of work on Sesame Street.
He was in Big Bird's Birthday or Let Me Eat Cake.
But this was his first film.
Okay.
We have Victor Stiles as Billy Foster. We have Donna Conforti as Betty Foster, Chris Month as Bomar, Pia Zodora as Gurmar, Lila Martin as Momar. These names are fucking great. Okay, they're so good. Doris Rich as Mrs. Claus, Ivor Bowden as Winky, Al Nesser as
Winky,
one of the elves. You don't remember?
Okay.
It was Winky and Dinky and Linky or something like that. I don't remember.
It's like, what's Kneecap the fucker?
And Don Blair was the news announcer, who I have to mention him because he's actually he's in this movie quite a bit.
I don't know.
Holy Christ. So
Don Blair was my favorite character. I'm just gonna let you know right now. He's my favorite character in this whole fucking movie.
As the TV guy. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my Lord. So let's talk about this movie. So it's really not, I mean, the basis of this movie is that Santa Claus, brings joy and cheer to the world, and Mars is just a sad place for everybody. For the children can't be children, so one of the leaders of Mars decides, we need to bring Santa to Mars to make the kids be kids again. And one guy with his really thick stash goes, I don't like it. I don't like this one bit. Mars children need to be depressed. It's like they need to sit there with their weird mind caps and just suck in information all day and not have any fun.
That dude found the biggest fucking caterpillar he could find and put it on his fucking lip, dude.
Because he's the evil one. Because he's technically the evil one of the story. So you got to give him that thick old mustache.
I know. Mustache. Oh my god.
Oh my god. This movie, don't get me wrong, it's not good. It's not good in the slightest. But when you watch it with the MST3K, the riff to it, yeah, it's hilarious, and it just adds so much more to the movie. Where you see what they were trying to do, and they had limitations, and the idea that, they thought they had a fantastic idea, and it just turned out to be the most goofy. I don't know if they were going for goofy. I don't know what it was, but it was just so disjointed, and like, what are we doing here? Like the Martians, like you have the was it Voldar? He was the evil Martian who just wanted Mars to stay the way it was. You have him, and you have Kimar, who is like the leader, who they're like at odds with each other,
Yeah.
who are like super serious. And then they have a bunch of dopey dudes who are just like, hey, everybody, like, what are we doing here? Like, what are we doing here? Like, what are you doing? You have Dropo, who just like hides out, and he's just like, he reminds me, like, it was like they took one of the Stooges from Three Stooges and just threw him in a movie. It's just so.
He was the fourth stooge, like, because he was not good enough to be one of the Three Stooges. So
but even the ones that were with Voldar, once they like turn on him, like that, like join his little group, they were just as goofy as Dropo. Just like, what are we doing? You have Billy and Betty who get literally kidnapped from their home. To go to Mars to kind of be like, hey kids, here Martian kids, this is what you should be like, happy like Earth kids. And the kids are like sad, and they're like, I don't understand why they're sad. And I like how the woman in Martian's just like, you guys are this dumb.
I know.
You just stole them and brought them to Mars.
Dude.
I just have a feeling that she wasn't a Martian because she was not green like the rest of them.
No, she didn't have like any on her. I was like,
no,
what
they
the fuck
ran out of budget for the makeup. They couldn't afford to cover her in the green. Or she just said, I'm not being covered in green.
It may have been. Maybe it had like a reaction.
She was the last one in the lineup to get makeup.
Oh, God. Like, well, we ran out of it.
We're out.
We got axle grease. That's almost green.
Oh my lord. This
Who made the title of this movie? Santa Claus doesn't conquer anything.
I know, it's so misleading. You think like
He's
Santa's going to be
there.
like going like fisticuffs with these Martians, and to be honest, they're fighting one. And Santa really doesn't do a whole lot other than he saves the two kids from getting killed from the airlock that this Voldar dude was just going to straight up murk these three Earthlings. Like,
yeah, and it accidentally.
Yeah. Oh, I love how Santa's always being so. He's trying to stay positive. Accidentally shut the door, locked us in. Accidentally turned it on.
I know. I'm like, accidentally my ass.
Dude, what the fuck? Go ahead.
Glenville Meredith only wrote Santa Claus Conquers the Martians.
Nice.
He did 64, and he did. I guess there was a screenplay in 2020. I'm like, what?
Maverick Theater's Santa Claus Conquers the Martians.
Like, that's all he did. So that's all he was worried about was Santa Claus conquering somebody.
I guess. Like, listen, I know there's other misleading movie titles like Frankenstein Conquers the World. Great movie. It's fucking awesome.
He didn't conquer.
But he doesn't conquer shit except for Tokyo and a lizard. That's it.
Yeah.
And Santa Claus is so ineffectual. He just stands around and does nothing outside of the time. Like I said, saves for the airlock. He doesn't do jack and shit. Like, my finger's tired. I'm gonna go to sleep.
I've been putting.
What day does this take place on? How long have they been gone? What is going on?
There's no sense of time. There's no like like when they report on it, they're like, 2 children have been abducted by the Martians, and they just vanished out of thin air, just like everything else. And it's like,
yeah.
Okay, I guess we don't give a shit about those children.
You never see their parents.
Nope. No. There's no like news report of the parents like asking for them to be returned. Like, please return our children.
Yeah. And you hear one time that Mrs. Claus made a statement. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. Like,
you know, you have the big hair dryer guns by the Martians.
Oh my gosh, I said that too. I was like, that's a hair dryer.
The beautiful polar bear suit.
Oh my god. She pulled up a picture and I just remembered it. We just watched this fucking movie. I'm like, holy hell. You make some of this fun of the shit in some of the movies we cover on Monster Zone. The fuck is this, dude? It's like they went like, listen, they went to a taxidermy place. Like, we just need a fucking bear skin and we'll make it into a suit.
Dude's on his hands and knees. Like,
I mean, listen, you gotta start somewhere. This is officially Toku, by the way. This is officially Tokusatsu. The dude's in a fucking suit.
It's fantastic. It's so good. Just the fact is, like, you see every seam. Literally just looks like a dude. Just it's fantastic. It's just so fantastically bad that I was just laughing. I was laughing at so many parts of this movie.
Like they have pants on.
The elves are like clearly little people, right?
Well, yeah.
And like there's a scene where one of them, they get like
Except
frozen
for
in
that's a
place.
kid. That's not
Yes, they get frozen in place, right, with their little hair dryer guns. But the other big gun that literally looks like an LMG does the same thing. Just freezes them in place. And this one dude, fucking mustache ride, he's like, fucking, we're a warring planet. We should be like that. And like, why does this gun just stun people? And he's talking about like murking kids. And these elves, one of them tries to kneecap the fucking robot when it walks in. What the fuck was the robot's name?
I don't
Why
know.
was this shitty
It was
ass
there for about
robot?
2 seconds. It grabbed the kids and brought them into Santa's workshop.
I think like Torg or something, I think was the
Yeah.
name.
Well, and then when
Oh, it turned into
they
a toy. Oh.
when they froze the elves, he's just standing there, like not moving. Like
Yeah,
they're all gone. Like he's just
yeah, the robot just stays
gonna hang
behind.
out.
Like Santa's like, "Hello, robot," and it's like, "I'm instantly a toy now."
It's like,
It's
oh, everybody's getting brainwashed.
Is that a dildo? She's watching the video, and I'm like,
no, that's the trailer. That's in the trailer. That's the trailer.
Oh, well, anyway.
It's in the alien kid's room, the Martian kid's room.
It's like this art, and it just looks like
it
the
very
mom
looks
Martian
like
just backs into it occasionally.
Yeah, it's there's just so many different things in this movie that where you're just like, what? How many movies did they just write and just take it like a bunch of different colors of Play-Doh and just smush it together? And they're like, this is a movie, guys. There's the scene where they meet Gandalf on Mars, and he's
Gandalf
like,
the Green.
He's like, oh, the children aren't children. They're all adults. They need to be children again. And he's the one who pretty much talks Kimar into going to get Santa. He's like, you have to get the Santa Claus on Earth because he brings joy and it'll make them children again. And I'm like, what is happening?
His name is Chochim?
Chochim or Von Green?
Von Green. Like,
why does he just name him Chochin Von Green?
Oh, like, and it's September.
It is September. Like I've made this joke in
yeah.
real life. It's apparently September. I've never heard this before, but I have said September to people before.
It's the middle of September.
This is it's
Fucking
just hilariously bad. And it's just a ride. You just are going, when does this end? Like, when do we finish this? When does it go? Where are we going right now? You have Santa, you have Santa able to magically get them through the exhaust pipe to escape death. There's the scene where they show up on Mars and they meet the children for the first time and no one says anything, but they all start laughing maniacally for like 5 minutes straight. And you're like, what is going on? There's scenes where like,
I guess that's their cheer.
There are scenes where actors are stepping on each other's lines where the actor has to repeat his line again. Cause like, I think it was the scene where Kimar is talking to the Earth kids. So Betty and Billy. And that's when they're like sad. They're like, oh, and he's like, what's wrong? And like the kid starts to say something, and he just stops, and then he says they're like, what's wrong?
Dude, like that. There's scenes like that where, like you talk about, where they laugh maniacally. There's like a couple scenes where Santa's just telling jokes, and they don't, and like the kids are sad, or he's like around somebody, and he says some joke to somebody. There's another scene where he says a joke to somebody else, and he just like sits there and like looks at something and just starts laughing, and the scene just cuts. I'm like, Santa,
when he's in the room with the kids and he's like telling his joke, and they're just sitting there, and he's like, he laughs. He's like, you didn't find that funny, did you? And I'm like, I didn't get it either. So okay.
Santa just does not give two fucks. Like that dude is probably high on rum or something. Like he is baked, dude. Like that fucker's sloshed. I don't know what he's got going on. He does not give two fucks about anything.
Yeah, I mean, this was, and listen, I'm happy I watched this because it's definitely a movie that I've heard about even before we watched that last Thanksgiving. I've heard about this movie. Like this was a movie for years that I heard like how bad it was, and just like based on the title, it's hilarious. Even when you go on Tubi, like you type in Santa, and this is one of like the top like requested ones that pop up on Tubi, and you're like, okay, I see it.
When I put it in, I think it was the first 4 when you type in Santa Claus.
Yeah. So it has, and the thing is
Or
like the fact that all these different people have done sort of like commentary on this movie. It just keeps it alive, and I hopefully our episode here will get people to check it out and see for themselves just kind of just the hot mess that this movie is. And
is that a fucking blanket he's wearing? It just looks like a fucking blanket. Like, listen, my wife had this on the couch. We're just gonna put this here as like a cloak kind of thing.
Because it doesn't know if it wants to be serious. It doesn't know if it wants to be a comedy. It's all over the place. You have characters that are completely in the wrong movie. You have Dropo and other characters that are like him. They're just like, what are we doing? I love the fact it was like, excuse me, I don't remember who what the woman's name was. I think it was Momar or Grumar. I don't know what the heck. One of them. They all have weird names. But
Gurmar.
It'd be funny if her name was Betty Foster. It's like the most un-alien name.
She made a Santa suit for Santa, but Dropo takes it because he wants to be Santa.
Yeah.
And that's when he gets taken because Voldar wants to take Santa. And then they have this like nuclear fucking curtain that literally if you walk through it, you just get vaporized. And I'm like, oh, I would like to see more with that. But instead he switches the bulbs around. And I like how when the guy figures it out, he knows exactly what he's got to do. He's like, oh shit, he fucking flipped the fucking bulbs.
Why didn't he just, I thought he flipped the bulbs to be like, oh shit, it's off. Let me turn it on. So we'd flip it
I think it was, he was trying to trick him. So it was supposed to, so he turned him the curtain off. Then he switched it so that the red bulb would be showing.
Yeah, okay,
where the green was. So like he would be like, I'm escaping. He's like, you're gonna die, and pretty much to try to fool him.
Yeah, I had a scene that came to mind earlier, and I was thinking of it, and I was like, what the fuck, dude? Like some of these actors, legit mad props for them playing this shit straight.
Oh,
like
absolutely.
the dude that plays the alien commander, whatever his name was, you said it.
Yeah.
Kimar.
I'm assuming it's like the dad of.
He's the dad of the Martian kids. Yeah.
What'd you say his name was?
Kimar.
Okay, yeah, there you go. Kimar. He like walks in. He's like fucking Dumbledore. What the fuck's name is? Dopo or whatever. Dropping dope. Yeah. So he's like the laziest, like Dopo or whatever. The laziest Martian. What are you doing? And I was like, clearly being lazy, laying under a fucking table. And he's like, where are you at? You could clearly see this dude laying under this table. He's not hiding from anything. Yeah. I'm like, who fucking wrote this?
Also, there's the scene where they get to Earth and he's looking through, and I think it's Voldar. He's looking through the scope and he sees New York City. And he's like, oh, this is what they call a city. We could easily just vaporize this place with one beam. And I'm like, of all the times they showed Mars, it just looked like a giant rock. Like it looked like there was nothing happening there. Like, I think most of their things were underground. I think he mentioned that. He's like, oh, everything, like their cities are above ground. Not like ours. That was weird.
Well, I love it when they see the Santa Claus ringing the bell on the corner, and the one Martian's like, Santa Claus, he's standing on a corner, and the other guy's like, no, he's standing outside of a building. Yeah. And it's like, really?
Yeah.
Really?
And like they're over in New York, and like we need to find the real one or whatever. Find Ace, and they just find these two kids who are just in some nameless section of woods.
They're just under a tree, having a picnic or whatever the hell they were doing.
Sleeping. Be quiet. Who's fucking napping under it? Well, I don't know.
They got their guns on them, and they're like, we don't mean you. We mean you no harm. And it's like, well, can you get that thing out of my face?
Yeah.
And you find out what it does. It like freezes people in place. And you always have to have the Santa line where he's like, he does it to Mrs. Claus. He's like, he's like, I think this is the longest I haven't heard you speak.
Yes, when she gets frozen, I was like, well, good thing
Santa.
She can't hear him, because she probably would have hit him.
What if it's like a coma?
I don't know. He's gonna get smacked later.
Dude.
Is that supposed to be Jupiter back there?
I don't fucking know. I don't
Is
know
Jupiter
why.
that close to Mars?
It looks like it's got a fucking
This,
ring
no
around
joke,
it.
needs to be like a high school play. Like, I think high schools should do this as a play. I think it would work perfectly. Based on just the production value of this movie, easily a high school could do it with a low budget. Just, you set up, create some sets and, paint some people green or whatever. This movie could be easily a very successful
What?
Gandalf there would be that's what I would,
You shall get Santa.
So, yeah, let's do that.
That's
please.
exactly
That
what
would be
I
more
would
entertaining
want.
than him sitting there, fucking like sitting there being old and like shaking, and then suddenly Gandalf the Green explodes, and fucking mustache man just randomly laughs like a maniacal dude for no fucking reason.
You can tell it's not a real mustache because half of it comes off. Like it's like
It's like a damn walrus.
It's not even connected. It's just there. It's hanging out.
Oh my god, dude! This fucking movie.
No, and his rocks look like giant whoopee cushions. I'm
They
sorry.
probably are. Well, the fucking robot's like 2 cardboard boxes.
Hey, I made a robot like that for my Christmas play at church one time.
Bet it was a damn sight better than that fucking robot. Torg. They hype him up like, oh shit, Torg's gonna do some stuff.
Holy shit, what's happening?
I'm gonna find a picture just to put under this when he releases this.
It's just like I've turned Torg into child kidnapper mode, and he just like grabs the killed children, and the other dude's like, crush them, fuck those kids. Which I don't totally disagree with the guy, but he's like, no, you can't do that. Like, like and like Keemer's like he knows this cocksucker's trying to go against him.
Earth time, Mars time. I don't even know what that says. Oh my gosh, they have clocks in their spaceship.
Why do they say what time it is during the day? It doesn't take 24 hours for Mars.
Or the kid's age. When the kids show up, they're like, I'm 10 or and she's 8. And they're like, I'm 10 too, or 11 or whatever age they were. And it's like, wait, okay, whatever. You know what? It's just, this movie is just so ridiculous. It's not even the point of like, I feel like I'm going to overthink things. But yeah, I don't know.
He forgets the reindeer's names.
Oh yeah.
Fucking reindeer. Richard
Nixon. At least the kids know it.
I know. Did he seriously? Was Nixon president at this? No, he wasn't. It would have been JFK. Would have been.
No, JFK was dead by this time.
Oh no, he was 60. When was he killed?
He got killed in 63. So this would have been Lyndon Johnson.
Oh, why the fuck did he bring Nixon?
I have no. I mean, Nixon was in politics at that time, so
probably. It's like
I don't know though. I don't know. This movie is just ridiculous. This movie is outrageously dumb, but it's one of those things where please watch like the Riff Tracks version or the MST3K version or any version where there is some sort of parody happening, because it adds something to this movie. I mean, or just watch the movie. I think it's only like an hour, a little over an hour. It's not anything.
20 minutes.
Yeah, it's nothing too crazy. And as bad as it is, it does have some entertaining values to it. I think it is. It's one of those so bad it's I don't want to say so bad it's good, but it's so bad it's entertaining to a point. Like just the dialogue and the set pieces and just like what does this title mean? It doesn't mean anything in this movie.
What about with that like section early on where we get like 10 minutes of like military B-roll where it's just showing taking off and shit? Like, are you just padding it out?
Oh, absolutely.
And there's some harsh cuts.
Yes.
In that too, like they tried to cut in the middle of somebody talking or something.
Yep.
The real question is, why do we keep not watching the MST3K version? Because we did it again for this fucking movie, which was my fault. I pulled it up. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with me.
Yeah, he started it while I was decorating the tree.
Yeah. That's a good one. It's an early one. So it's Joel hosting it. This is the one. It's got the iconic Patrick Swayze Christmas song that's sung during the episode. Yeah, it's great. It's fantastic. But yeah, please go watch it. So yeah, I think that's about it for us on this movie. There's really not. I mean, I feel like we broke it down all over the place, but it's such a weird experience, and I'm so happy that this show is going to be bringing out some weird movie experiences for us down the road. So
can't wait to do Santa versus Satan. That's gonna be a good one.
That was the one that's trying to come up next.
Dude, it's a Hispanic production, dude. Oh, it's got to be wild.
So for next month, so we are going to be taking a break for the month of January. So next month's Out of the Tubi will be a Out of the Tubi that we've already done over the past year. So what I'm probably going to do is put up a few, we'll put up the movies that we've already recorded for, and let you guys vote on it, and that'll be the one you guys will get for January. So we will be releasing some stuff in January while we're on the break, like stuff that we've already had recorded, just so that you guys, there'll still be some Dissect That Film stuff out there for you guys to listen to, some newer stuff. Yeah. But as for February, we're probably going to find something Valentine's Day related from Tubi. So it could be anything. It could be Valentine's Day horror. It could be a rom-com. Who knows? It could be anything. It could be something that's just not up our alley, but we're going to do it anyways. So if you want to leave suggestions, or you can message me over on X/Twitter, you can DM me there. You can DM me on Instagram at Dissect That Film, or you could send us an email at dissectthatfilm@gmail.com and say, hey, for this month, I recommend this on Tubi. It's got to be on Tubi for this show, because that's the whole point of the show. It's movies that are on Tubi. So yeah, that's about it. You guys got anything you want to add before we get out of here?
I wonder if that dude's mustache, he's got one just like it right above his dick.
Imagine. That'd be fantastic. Yes, you can. So yeah, you can find us on all the social medias at Dissect That Film. You can also become a patron at patreon.com/Dissect That Film, where we have tiers that you can help support the show. You get some bonus content, such as the Monster Zone show, which is hosted by Dan and Angela. And we got some fun things planned for 2024 over on the Patreon. So if you want to, help support us in another way, we appreciate it. But if you can't support us there, make sure to rate and review the show on whatever podcast app you listen to us on, because the more ratings or reviews that we get, the more people will discover us. So make sure to go to Spotify, hit that 5 stars. Make sure to go to Apple Podcasts, do 5 stars, leave us a review for the show. Good Pods, same thing. Anywhere that you can leave us 5 stars or just rate and review the show, please do, because it really helps us. And if you enjoy the show, we want more people to enjoy the show. So we appreciate all the help we can get. And lastly, we are on YouTube. Of course, you can watch the podcast version, or the video version of the podcast, over on youtube.com/@Dissect That Film. And make sure to like, comment, and subscribe on the video and the channel, because it's all free and it also helps us out. And we also love reading your comments over on YouTube, because we do get some and they're great. So thank you very much. Other than that is going to be it for us. So until next time, I am Brett Parker. That is Dan and Angela of DNA Gaming. And this has been another episode of Out of the Tubi. Dive in, baby. See you again next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.